If you use a CPAP machine in the United States, Europe, or Australia, you might think the industry works pretty much the same everywhere. It doesn't. In fact, the CPAP business in China is very different. Today, I want to show you what it's really like to run a small CPAP company here, not from the perspective of a manufacturer or a larger corporation, but from someone who has spent the last 10 years working directly with patients. My name is Austin, and I started my CPAP business in 26. Like many people in China, I didn't come from a medical background. A friend introduced me to this industry, and I learned everything from scratch. Videos and social media. In China, that's completely legal. As long as you register a company and obtain the proper government license, you can sell CPAP equipment. You don't have to be a respiratory therapist or a sleep specialist. That surprises many people overseas. But here's the interesting part. Getting CPAP machines is easy. Finding the right customers is the hard part. Although CPAP therapy has existed in China for more than 25 years, the way people buy these machines hasn't changed very much. For a long time, the business depended almost entirely on hospitals. A patient would be diagnosed with sleep apnea, and the doctor would introduce that patient to a CPAP dealer. In many cases, the dealer would pay a referral commission. That has been the traditional business model for years. Then everything changed. E-commerce exploded. If you've heard about online shopping in China, you've probably heard how competitive it is, and that's absolutely true. Selling online here is fast, relatively inexpensive, and highly competitive. Unlike many Western countries, where CPAP devices are more tightly regulated, Chinese dealers can usually open an online store after receiving authorization from the manufacturer. Once the store is online, they can simply pay the platform to advertise their products. Whoever spends more on advertising often gets more traffic. And because the Chinese consumers are extremely price sensitive, lower price usually win. Hospital referrals are often more expensive because commissions are built into the price. Online stores don't have those costs, so naturally, many people choose the cheaper option. After COVID, the competition became even more intense. New investors entered the CPAP market. New manufacturers appeared. More brands entered the market. Prices dropped rapidly. Today, buying a CPAP machine in China is far cheaper than it was 10 years ago. For a small business like mine, that completely changed how we survived. Some of our customers still come from hospitals, but many discovered us through social media. A year ago, I began creating educational content online. Eventually, I had more customers from other parts of China than from my own city. That was something I never expected. But the lower price created another problem. Many sellers don't really understand CPAP therapy. Some understand sales much better than sleep medicine. I've met many patients who bought the wrong machine. Others received almost no guidance after opening the box. Some struggled with masks. Some struggled with pressure settings. Some simply gave up. Not because the CPAP didn't work, but because no one helped them learn how to use it. To me, that's one of the biggest challenges in China's CPAP industry. Selling a machine is easy. Helping someone actually succeed with the treatment is much harder. There's another issue that many people outside China probably don't know. Return the CPAP machines. Most Chinese e-commerce platforms allow customers to return products within 7 days. CPAP therapy is highly personal. Some people adapt immediately, others need weeks. If they can't tolerate the machine after only a few days, they often send it back. The seller usually charges only for the mask and the tubing because those can't be reused. The machine itself is cleaned, inspected, and eventually sold again, sometimes as a used device, sometimes through second-hand marketplace. There's actually a surprisingly large second-hand CPAP market in China. Some buyers even prefer import used machine from the United States because they trust the old international brands. Another change I've seen is manufacturing. Since COVID, many new Chinese companies have started producing CPAP machines. Some of these products look beautiful. The screens are modern. The industrial design is impressive. But appearance isn't everything. What really matters is how comfortable the therapy feels at 2 o'clock in the morning when a patient is trying to sleep. Comfort, algorithms, pressure response, noise, and mask fit. Those things determine whether someone keeps using the machine 6 months later. Unfortunately, many companies focus more on selling the product than supporting the patient. From my perspective, that's the biggest difference. Selling a CPAP machine is a transaction. Helping someone breathe better every night is a long-term relationship. That's why, even after nearly 10 years, I still spend much of my time answering the questions, adjusting therapy settings, and helping patients overcome problems instead of simply selling another machine. This channel isn't about advertising products. It's about sharing what life is really like inside China's CPAP industry. I'll be talking about the difference between China and the West, reviewing machines from different manufacturers, explaining common sleep apnea questions, and sharing real stories from the patients I've worked with over the year. If that sounds interesting, I'd love to have you along for the journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.